Picture this. You've been doing everything right for years. You max out your 401k. You've got a little brokerage account on the side, maybe a Roth IRA you set up during a particularly motivated weekend back in 2021. You check your portfolio balance every few months, sometimes more when the market does something weird, and you watch that number slowly, painfully, sometimes agonizingly inch upward. From $40,000 to $60,000, from $60,000 to $90,000. You add more, the market goes up, the market goes down, and sometimes you feel like you're on a treadmill that's moving just slightly slower than you're walking. And then something shifts, not dramatically, not overnight, but somewhere around a certain number, a number that almost nobody in the personal finance world actually stops to talk about seriously. The whole game quietly changes on you. The math starts behaving differently. Your portfolio starts doing things you didn't fully expect, and suddenly you realize you're playing a completely different sport than the one you thought you were playing. My name is Alex, and I've spent an embarrassingly large portion of my adult life thinking about money, compound growth, and the weird psychological journey people go through as they actually build wealth. Not in theory, not on a whiteboard, but in real life, with real emotions and real market crashes that make you want to do something stupid at exactly the wrong moment. And the thing I keep coming back to, the thing that almost never gets a proper conversation, is what happens at $500,000. Not $1 million, not retirement. $500,000 invested, because that number, quietly, without fanfare, is where everything changes. So if you're somewhere on the path, maybe you've got $80,000 saved, maybe $200,000, maybe you're just starting and trying to understand what you're even building toward, stick with me here. Because what I want to walk you through today isn't just a math lesson. It's a perspective shift. And honestly, it might change the way you think about every dollar you're putting away right now. Here's the thing. The personal finance world is absolutely obsessed with two numbers. $1 million, the mythical, culturally embedded finish line that's been romanticized since, I don't know, every movie about rich people ever made. And zero, the starting point, the debt-free moment, the I finally have my emergency fund exhale that personal finance content loves to celebrate. Everything in between is kind of glossed over. You get general advice. Keep investing. Stay consistent. Don't panic sell. Trust the process. And that advice isn't wrong. It's just that nobody really tells you what the process actually feels like at different stages, and more importantly, what it starts doing mechanically at different levels. $500,000 is this awkward middle number. It's not sexy enough to be a goalpost. It's not $1 million. It doesn't have a name. Nobody's writing books called The Half-Millionaire Next Door. But it is, without exaggeration, the point at which the mathematics of compounding stops being a concept you understand intellectually and starts being something you can actually feel in your portfolio. And that distinction, between understanding something and feeling it, is huge. Because it changes behavior. It changes patience. It changes how you think about market downturns. It changes, fundamentally, your relationship with money itself. Let me try to make this as visceral as possible because I think numbers on a page don't really do it justice. Imagine you start investing at 25. You're putting away, let's say, $1,000 a month. You're getting a 7% average annual return, which is roughly what a broad market index fund has historically delivered after inflation. In year one, your portfolio grows by maybe $7,000 from returns. Your contributions add another $12,000. So you've got roughly $19,000 by the end of year one. That feels okay. That feels like progress. But here's the thing. Most of that growth is you. You are the engine. The market is barely helping yet. You're essentially carrying the portfolio on your back. Fast forward. You've been grinding for years. You've got $100,000 saved. Now at 7%, the market adds about $7,000 to your portfolio in a year. You're still contributing $12,000, so the market is covering maybe 37% of your annual progress. Better. but you're still doing most of the heavy lifting yourself. At $200,000, the market's adding roughly $14,000. You're adding $12,000. Now it's almost a coin flip. You and the market are basically partners. At $300,000, the market's adding $21,000 to your $12,000 in contributions. The math has flipped. The market is now working harder than you are. And at $500,000, the market, on an average year, is adding $35,000 to your portfolio. You're still contributing $12,000. The market is now contributing nearly 3 times what you are. You've gone from carrying the portfolio on your back to walking beside it to, and this is the part that's hard to describe until you see it, basically jogging to keep up with it. That's the wall. And $500,000 is where most people, in a typical savings and investment scenario, finally break through it. It's the moment your money becomes, in a very real and practical sense, your most productive employee. Here's where I want to slow down a little because I think this is actually the most important thing. There's a psychological experience that happens at this threshold that is genuinely strange and that nobody really warns you about. Because you'd think, logically, that as your net worth grows, you'd feel more secure, more relaxed, more, I don't know, zen about the whole thing. And in some ways, you do. But there's also this other thing that happens, and it catches a lot of people completely off guard. At $500,000, a 10% market drop is a $50,000 loss. On paper, temporarily, but $50,000. That's a year's salary for a lot of people. That's a car. That's a significant home renovation. And when the market drops 10%, which it does regularly, it's basically just a thing markets do, and you watch $50,000 evaporate from your balance in a few weeks, there is a visceral, gut punch feeling that is categorically different from watching $10,000 disappear when you had $100,000. The percentage is identical. The feeling is not. I think about this a lot, actually, because there's this fascinating gap between what we know rationally and what we feel emotionally, and money is one of the clearest places where that gap shows up. You know the drop is temporary. You know the market recovers. You've read the books, you've seen the charts. And yet, when your balance drops by $50,000 in a month, something primal in your brain lights up and says, do something. Fix this. Make it stop. The people who understand this in advance, who expect the feeling rather than being blindsided by it, are the ones who don't make the mistake. They don't sell. They don't move to cash to wait it out. They've mentally prepared for the emotional experience of having more to lose. And that preparation, honestly, is more important than any investment strategy. Because a perfect strategy executed badly is worse than a decent strategy executed consistently. Okay, let me bring this back to numbers for a second because there's a specific calculation that I think about probably more than is healthy for a normal person, and I want to share it with you. From $0 to $500,000, assuming that $1,000 monthly contribution at 7% returns, takes roughly 23 to 25 years. That's a long time. That's a grind. That's decades of consistency, of not touching it, of watching markets crash and recover, of life happening, job changes, kids, unexpected expenses, moments where you really wanted to raid the account but didn't. From $500,000 to $1 million, doubling your money, takes approximately 10 years, with the same contributions. And you're barely even factoring in your contributions anymore, because at this point, they're almost a rounding error compared to what the compounding is doing on its own. From $1 million to $2 million, 7 years, roughly, maybe less. Do you see what's happening? The journey compresses, dramatically. The first half of the journey, to $500,000, takes as long as the second half, third half, and fourth half combined. The mountain is steepest at the bottom. Once you've got real altitude, the slope begins to work with you rather than against you. This is why I'd argue that the most important financial decade of most people's lives isn't the decade before retirement. It's the decade when they're climbing from $200,000 to $500,000. Because every dollar saved and every year of patience during that phase has an outsized, disproportionate impact on everything that comes after. And most people are walking through that exact phase right now with their heads down, just hoping it's working, without really understanding what they're building toward. This is a slightly uncomfortable section, and I want to be thoughtful about it, because people's situations are genuinely different, and I'm not here to give anyone specific financial advice. But I want to talk about something conceptual that I think matters a lot. When you're at $50,000, when you're early, your most powerful financial asset is not your portfolio. It's your future contributions. It's your income, your ability to work, your human capital, as the economists like to say. The portfolio is small enough that its performance barely matters compared to your savings rate. You could get a mediocre 4% return versus a great 9% return. And at $50,000, the difference is just a few $1,000s per year. But if you increase your income by $10,000 per year and redirect that to savings, that moves the needle dramatically. At $500,000, that equation starts to shift. Now the portfolio's performance matters. Not in a you should be day trading and trying to beat the market way. Please don't do that. But in the sense that the difference between a 6% return and an 8% return over the next 20 years on $500,000 is genuinely life-changing. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's years of potential early retirement. It's meaningful. So the practical implication is this. Early on, obsess over your savings rate. Make more money. Spend less. Invest the difference. Portfolio optimization is almost irrelevant at small balances. But as you build toward and then beyond $500,000, the quality of your investments, low fees, broad diversification, avoiding the dumb behavioral mistakes, starts to matter more and more. The game doesn't stay the same as you level up. The priorities shift. And knowing when to shift your focus is a skill that most people just stumble into by accident, if they stumble into it at all. There's something else that happens at this threshold that I find genuinely fascinating, and it's more psychological than mathematical. When most people start their wealth-building journey, they think of themselves as savers. The goal is to not spend money, to cut the latte, to automate the transfer. The whole mental model is about restraint, discipline, delayed gratification. And that's a necessary and healthy phase, absolutely. But it's also a phase that can become a trap, because there comes a point, and I'd argue $500,000 is around that point for most people, where the saver identity starts to become limiting, where the obsessive frugality that helped you build the foundation actually starts to work against you. Not because you should start blowing money irresponsibly, but because the relationship between effort and outcome has changed. Let me give you an example. If you have $500,000 invested and you're still agonizing over whether to buy the $6 coffee versus making it at home, you're optimizing the wrong variable. The $6 coffee, at this point in your wealth journey, is basically a rounding error. But if your asset allocation is slightly off, if you're paying 1% in fund fees instead of 0.05%, if you're holding too much cash out of anxiety, those things are costing you real money, tens of thousands of dollars over time. The shift from saver to investor is really a shift in where you place your attention and your anxiety. And it's a shift that a lot of people resist because the saver identity is familiar. It's safe. It's who they've been for years. The idea of relaxing some of that frugality, even when the math fully supports it, can feel irresponsible, dangerous even. But the people who make this shift consciously, who recognize when their mindset needs to evolve, tend to build wealth with a lot less unnecessary suffering along the way. I want to talk about something that I think causes a lot of people to give up, or slow down, or quietly abandon their financial goals during exactly the phase when they should be most committed. The journey from $0 to $500,000 has a long, brutal middle section where it feels like nothing is happening. You go from $100,000 to $150,000. It takes years. You get there. You celebrate internally. Maybe you don't even celebrate. You just note it and keep going. Then you crawl to $200,000, then $250,000. And somewhere in there, somewhere in that long, slow, gray middle, a voice starts asking whether this is actually working, whether you'd be better off doing something different, whether all this discipline is actually going to amount to anything. This is the compounding paradox. The phase that will ultimately lead to exponential growth feels, in the moment, like linear growth, or sometimes no growth at all. The exciting stuff, the part where your portfolio starts doubling in relatively short time frames, is on the other side of a very long, very boring tunnel. And I think the people who make it through aren't necessarily smarter or luckier or more financially sophisticated. They're just the ones who understood the tunnel was supposed to be there, who didn't interpret slow progress as broken strategy, who had enough of a conceptual map to keep walking when the walk felt pointless. That's honestly a big part of why I wanted to make this video. Because if you're in the tunnel right now, if you're at $80,000 or $180,000 or $320,000 and it feels like you're barely moving, I want you to know that the slowness is the process working correctly, not incorrectly. The rocket is still on the launch pad, you're building the fuel, and the launch is coming. But it doesn't happen at 0, and it doesn't happen at 100,000. It starts to happen around 500,000. Keep walking. So let's bring it together, because I want to make sure this actually lands in a useful way and doesn't just stay as a collection of interesting ideas. $500,000 invested is not just a number, it's a threshold. It's the point at which the math of compounding becomes visceral and real rather than theoretical. It's where your money begins outworking your contributions, where a 10% market drop starts testing your psychology in genuinely new ways, and where your priorities as a wealth builder legitimately need to evolve. It's also, and I think this is the part that matters most, a destination that is reachable. Not easy, not at all, but genuinely, mathematically reachable for a lot of people with consistent habits over time. The uncomfortable truth is that most people who are investing regularly and staying invested are closer to this threshold than they feel. Because the journey feels slow, and that slowness creates a distorted sense of how much progress is actually happening underneath the surface. The thing I'd want you to walk away with, and I know this sounds simple, maybe even obvious, is a renewed appreciation for the thing you're building, not just as a number on a screen, but as a system. A quietly humming, slowly accelerating system that is going to start doing heavier and heavier lifting on your behalf as time goes on. Every dollar you contribute right now, at whatever stage you're at, is a dollar that gets to benefit from every single year of compounding between now and $500,000 and beyond. The early dollars are the most valuable, not the later ones. The ones you're investing this year, this month, those are the ones that get the longest runway. So wherever you are on the path, don't wait for the exciting part to take this seriously. The exciting part is being built right now, in the boring, unremarkable, invisible growth of a portfolio that doesn't look like much yet, but is quietly becoming something that will change your life. That's the turning point nobody talks about. And now you know it's coming. Also, make sure to press that subscribe button, like and comment. See you in the next video.